A 17-year-old girl walks out of a party on Halloween night and never comes back. Years later, one of the most infamous serial killers in history said he did. Investigators believe him. And still, the case stays open for more than 50 years. That is where this story starts to feel wrong. Let's go back to 1974. It is Halloween night in Utah. Laura and Aime leaves the party alone. That is the last moment anyone can clearly place her alive. She never makes it home. They pass, then weeks. Eventually, her body is found in a remote canyon area near State Road 92. And from early on, something stands out. Investigators begin to suspect Ted Bundy. Not randomly, not years later, early on. Now, pause right there, because this is where the case should become simple. A victim, a suspect, a timeline. But it doesn't. Years later, Bundy himself admits involvement in Laura's murder. He says he did it. Think about that. A serial killer already convicted of multiple murders openly admits to killing this girl. So logically, that should be the end of the story. Case closed, right? But it wasn't. The case stayed open for decades. Let's slow this down. If Bundy confessed, why didn't that solve it? That is the first crack in the story, because in real investigations, a confession is powerful, but only if it can be backed by facts. And in this case, something was missing. Investigators believe Bundy. They suspect him. They had his own words, but they did not have enough forensic evidence to prove it. No DNA confirmation, no physical link strong enough to officially close the case. So now we are in a strange situation. Everyone thinks they know what happened, but legally they cannot prove it. And this goes on for years, then decades. The case sits there in a strange state. Not fully solved, not completely unknown, just unfinished. Now here is where things get even more uncomfortable. Bundy confessed to multiple crimes near the end of his life. Some were proven, some were not, some were detailed, others were vague. So investigators had to ask a difficult question. Was this confession enough? Or was it just another statement that could not be verified? Think about that. You have a killer who admits to the crime, but you still cannot officially say he did it. That creates doubts, and doubts keep a case open. Now jump forward more than 50 years. April 2026, new DNA testing is done, and finally there is confirmation. Not suspicion, not a confession, but scientific proof. Ted Bundy killed Laura Ann Aime. And just like that, the case is closed. But here is the part that doesn't sit right. Why did it take 51 years? Was the evidence always there, just waiting for technology to catch up, or was something missing earlier? Because if investigators already suspected Bundy, and if Bundy already admitted, then what exactly were they waiting for? This is where the story becomes less about the crime and more about the gap between knowing and proving. Let's look at it clearly. Laura leaves a party. She disappears. Her body is found in a remote area. Bundy becomes the main suspect. Bundy confesses. And still, nothing is officially confirmed for decades. That means for years the truth was sitting in front of investigators, but they could not lock it. And that raises another question. How many other cases are like this? Cases where investigators have a strong idea, but not enough proof to say it out loud. Because this is not just about one victim. This is about how justice works. Theory number one is the official explanation. Forensic technology in the 1917 was limited. DNA testing did not exist in the way we know it today. So even if investigators believed Bundy, they needed something physical to confirm it. And only now, decades later, has caught up. That explains the delay. But it does not fully explain the discomfort, because the truth may have been known long before it was proven. Theory number 2 focus on the confession itself. Bundy's confessions were not always clear. Some lacked detail, some could not be verified. So investigators may have treated this one carefully, not dismissing it, but not accepting it full either. That would explain why the case stayed open, because a confession without proof is still just a statement. But that leads to a darker thought. How many of his confessions were true, but never confirmed? Theory number 3 is the most unsettling. Investigators may have already known the answer, but could not legally prove it, so the case stayed in a kind of a limbo. Everyone believed it was Bundy, but officially it remained unsolved. And if that is true, then this case was never really unsolved. It was just unproven. Now the DNA has confirmed it. The official story is complete, the file is closed. But something still feels off, because the real mystery was never just about who did, it was about why it took so long to see it. So now I want to ask you something. If Bundy confessed, and the investigators suspecting, what do you think really delayed the truth? Was it just science catching up, or was it something deeper in how cases are handled? And here is the question that stays with you. How many other cases are still out there waiting for proof, even though someone already knows the answer?